Well, good morning, everybody. It's about 8:30-ish, and yeah, look what we got overnight. Are you ready? Are you ready? Because I wasn't. Snow! Ah! Yeah. So, yeah, storm blew in last night and brought us snow. It's pretty windy. Looks like my bird feeder has overturned. It's actually a bird bath, and I just stick food in it for the squirrels and the birds. So there is the bird feeder. It's knocked over, so I am going to head on out and yeah, set it back up and fill it up. Oh, does somebody want out? Yeah, I know. You don't like the snow though. I'll open the door. You'll take a few steps outside and then you'll want to come back in. So I'm sorry, my girl. Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, make me feel like a bad parent. I love you. Yes, I do. I love you. So. Okay, so that's done. And it is still slightly snowing. Just a few little flakes. It's supposed to warm up and this is all supposed to melt. So that's great. In the meantime, I was planning on going for a bit of a hike to break in some new hiking boots. Well, new as in, I bought them before the pandemic and haven't used them. So, but I think I'm gonna wimp out and instead, you know what? I'm gonna bake some cookies. So the cookies I'm going to make, this is a recipe that I came up with myself. Yeah, and I thought I'd share it with you. So they are almond flour cookies. And I just use the stuff, the red mill almond flour. So almond flour, I use Splenda as the sweetener. You can use a different sweetener or plain sugar, whatever you like. Vanilla, an egg, just one, and a 1/4 cup of butter. Fries, cocoa powder. So yeah, so that's it for ingredients. It's pretty simple. You do have to preheat your oven. Yeah, so preheat the oven to 350 and it only takes 7 minutes to bake. Now, this recipe does not make a dozen. It makes about 10 cookies. Well, you know what? I'll just go through it and you can see what I do. So I've got 2 bowls here. It's 1 cup of almond flour. Yeah, so it's 1 level cup of almond flour. And then in a separate bowl, I like to, well, in this case, I'm going to have to melt the butter and I will combine the Splenda, the butter, and the egg together, and the vanilla too. And then combine the wet with the dry. Oh, before I forget, because I'm making these chocolate almond cookies, I'm going to put in about half a teaspoon of cocoa powder. Now, I don't know where my half teaspoon is. I've got a 1/4 here. So I'm just going to put that in, put 2 of those in. So 1, 2. Okay. So I'm just going to combine this, combine the dry ingredients. Yeah. All right. Okay. So the butter is, well, mostly melted. Definitely soft enough now. I'm going to grab my Splenda and I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of Splenda. So I just scoop it, level it off. And then I am going to put in a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I love the smell of vanilla. Okay. Okay, first things first, I'm going to mix those together. And now I'm going to add the egg. So it's just one large egg. That's pretty much combined. You don't have to combine these separately. It's just because the butter was so cold, I decided to do it that way. All right, so I'm just gonna put everything together. The egg's so cold that the butter and sugar mixture has now like separated. It's like, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm just gonna throw it all in together. Let's see what happens. I'm sure it will be fine. All right. Mix it up. So yeah, there was enough moisture. I don't have to add any water. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna roll them out and put them on the baking sheet. So I like to line my baking sheet. I have a reusable silicone mat. So I'll put that on. Okay. Again, my hands are clean because I did wash them before I started this. I just like to pinch a little, roll it into a ball, put it on the baking sheet, and give it a press. Because there's no baking powder, baking soda, they will not expand. They pretty much will be the shape that they are when you press them down, put them on your baking sheet. So you don't have to worry about spread. If you want it to, you could definitely put in more cocoa powder if you want them more chocolatey, or you can put in chocolate chips. Like I said, this is just a recipe I came up with. Yeah, that's too big of a pinch. Okay. So that's why it doesn't give a full dozen. It's just something that when I was low carbing and looking for a snack, I was really in the mood for cookies. And instead of going out and getting myself some cookies or getting something loaded with a whole bunch of different chemicals, I thought, well, I should be able to come up with something. So I looked around online and checked out a bunch of different recipes, and I remembered a baking competition from years and years ago. And the woman had baked with almond flour. And I thought, well, you know, I should be able to bake some decent cookies with almond flour. And so I started to look up almond flour cookie recipes. And I found a whole bunch. None of them, they all required extra ingredients that aren't keto friendly or low carb friendly. So I came up with this. So through some trial and error, yeah, it works for me. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So makes about 9 cookies. I'm sure you can fiddle around with it and the proportions and whatnot and make something different. But for me, this recipe is going to yield 9 cookies. So here are the done cookies, all 9 of them. If you can see, cookie is fully cooked. Now I did have to leave them in for an extra minute, and so it was 8 minutes total. And the back of them, where they were against the silicone mat, you can see is golden brown. So cookies are done. Cookies are loaded and the coffee is black and hot. Hi, Olive. Okay, so all right, yep, just walk all over me. There we go. Okay, so had the cookie, or took a bite of the cookie. Delicious, just the right amount of sweetness and just the right amount of cocoa for me. Now you may be wondering, you know, she only made 9. Why doesn't she adjust the recipe and make a dozen? I don't make adjustments to the recipe to make more cookies for a couple of reasons. The first reason is, for me, this recipe uses what I call whole or rounded measurements, so they're easier for me to calculate calories and to calculate carbs. It works in my brain, may not work in yours, yeah, but it works for me. The second reason is, if I bake a dozen cookies, I will eat a dozen cookies. So it's just portion control and weight management. I'm trying to lose weight. If you check out my other videos, you know, I recently had a setback and I've almost lost the weight that I recently gained. So I don't want to screw myself up. So I'm almost back to where I was a few weeks ago. You know, weight loss journeys, the weight's down, it's up, it's down, it's up. That's just what happens. So I think why make a dozen when 9 will do me sufficiently for like the next 3 days. So that's perfect. That way I can have 3 cookies a day for the next 3 days, and that works for me. Other people, you know, they might be like, well, you know, it's just 3 more cookies. Like, you know, you can have 3 a day for 4 days. You know, I'm just not feeling that need. For me, the 9 works. The 9 is perfect. It's not too much. It's not too little. So it's 3 days of cookies. And yeah, that is just what I do and why I do it. Well, I guess part of well, the other reason that I do it is, you know, or why I even make cookies today anyways, is one, I was craving something sweet and of a cookie texture. Because sometimes when you're eating, or for me, when I'm eating nothing but vegetables and protein, I'm looking for a certain texture, a certain mouthfeel. Oh, hi Twig. So I wanted that, and part of that, or part of the reason is, as well, it's cold and it's overcast. And as much as I love my girls, yeah, there was a bit of a psychological, emotional sort of hug that I wanted, an internal hug. So, and baking cookies and having warm cookies and a warm cup of coffee, you okay? You know, filled that emotional, psychological need for me. I don't know what scared her. No, but there we go. All right, my girl. I know. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so that's why I bake the cookies and why I'm not baking too many. I hope that makes sense. If you want to take the recipe and modify it however you want to modify it, go for it. Make a dozen, make 2 dozen. Whatever works for you. All right. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I hope you stay safe and happy until the next time. All right. Bye.